I know this feeling. I can't do this anymore. I woke up tired. Went to bed tired. And in between, I'd snap at the kids, cry in the car on the way home from the supermarket, stare at a mountain of unwashed laundry and feel emptiness. Numbness. And right after that, guilt. That sticky, nasty, ugly guilt. And the question that eats you from the inside, what's wrong with me? Why does that mom on Instagram with 3 kids make it look so easy, and I can't? I have children, a husband, a roof over my head. I should be grateful. Sound familiar? So stop. Stop right now. And listen. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're just burned out. You're not alone. And it's not your fault. I've been through it. And I got out. With 4 things I'm about to share. No fluff. Just what I actually did when I was running on empty. Let's go. At first I thought, I just need more sleep. Then, I need to plan better. Then, I'm a bad mom. I kept sliding deeper. I'd lose it at my older child over a drop of milk on the table. I'd scream at the younger one because he wouldn't put on his socks. And then at night I'd lie there and hate myself. One day I got stuck in traffic and just couldn't get out of the car. Home in the driveway, kids screaming, and I sat there staring at nothing. 10 minutes. Then 15. Then my husband came out, took them inside, and I just breathed for another half hour. That evening I searched online, feeling like an empty mother. And you know what? Thousands of stories just like mine. Almost 1 in 2 mothers reaches the point of burnout. And 98% of women feel like they're falling behind while everyone else is super successful. Women do up to 70% of all housework, even when they work, and today nearly 3/4 of moms work. And there's one more thing we rarely say out loud, but it weighs on us every day. Daycare bills. The cost of a babysitter. No paid maternity leave. You look at the numbers and can't understand how it's even possible. And inside, anger boils up. Helplessness. Why? Why do others have a choice and I don't? I'm not a politician. I'm just a mom who got tired and found a way not to lose my mind. Stoicism doesn't change the system, but it changes my attitude toward it. And sometimes that's the only thing I can do right now. I remembered Epictetus, a former slave who had nothing. He said, some things are up to us, others are not. You can't control the economy, state laws, your boss's decision, or the daycare bill. Those are external things. But what is in your power? Your judgment about it. You can stop blaming yourself for what you can't change. You can tell yourself, I'm not a bad mother because childcare is crazy expensive. I'm not a failure because I can't afford a nanny. Those are just circumstances. They don't define my worth. Seneca adds, we fight not to eradicate problems, but so that they don't overcome us. You can't make the system fair tomorrow. But you can stop letting that unfairness eat you alive. Today you can do one small thing that's in your control. Check one option, ask your partner for help, or just breathe and stop hating yourself for what you can't change. The rest stays outside your circle of control. Leave it there. I wasn't weak. I was part of a system where everyone expected everything from me, and no one gave me support. And then I remembered the Stoics. Not because I'm smart. Because I was at rock bottom and ready to grab anything. I used to think Stoicism was about gritting your teeth and bearing it. Becoming a robot. Feeling nothing. What nonsense. Real Stoicism is how I learned not to fall apart. It's noticing that I'm about to scream, and instead just breathing out. It's focusing on what I can actually change in my life, and letting go of what I can't. Marcus Aurelius wrote his meditations on military campaigns, surrounded by chaos and loss. If he could do it, so can I. And so can you. Here's the key that turned my motherhood around. I stopped trying to control everything. My child's behavior? Not mine. My husband's mood? Not mine. So what is mine? My reaction. My pause. My choice to yell or to walk into another room and drink some water. That's where my rescue began. I remember one evening. The youngest spilled juice on the floor I'd just washed. The older one was teasing him. My husband was at work. I felt everything boiling inside. My mouth was already open to scream. Then I remembered Seneca. He wrote about anger, don't let it control you. Notice it. Name it. Then choose. I closed my mouth. Went to the kitchen. Stood by the window and asked myself, not why are they so unbearable, but what am I really feeling? I realized I was hungry. I hadn't eaten in 6 hours. I was overstimulated by noise. I was touched out. And I just wanted someone to hug me, not demand something from me. That evening I didn't scream. I told the kids, I'm very angry right now, but it's not because of you. I need 10 minutes. Put on a cartoon. And I went to the bathroom. You know what? Nothing terrible happened. The cartoon didn't ruin them. And I came back able to talk normally. Next time you feel anger rising, don't scream. Stop. Ask yourself, am I hungry? Am I tired? Do I feel lonely? Name the feeling for what it really is. Not I'm angry, but I'm exhausted. That breaks the autopilot. Tested 100 times. I went through a phase where I was losing my mind because my older child wasn't eating well at school. I called the teacher, wrote notes, packed special lunch boxes. He still came back with half the food uneaten. I sobbed. Felt like a failure. Then I came across Epictetus, a former slave. He said, some things are up to us, others are not. I sat down and drew a circle. Inside, my actions, my words, my boundaries. Outside, whether my child eats at school, what the teacher thinks, whether my lunchbox is nice. And it clicked. I can't force him to eat. I can only pack the food. Whether he eats it or not, that's not in my power. I stopped controlling. Calmly packed his lunchbox and didn't ask if he ate. A week later he started eating more. On his own. Without my pressure. Take a piece of paper. Write down everything that stresses you out. Draw a line. On the left, what you can actually do today. On the right, what you cannot control. Then put the right column aside. At least for a day. You'll be surprised how much energy frees up. I still do this once a week. Sounds weird, right? Imagine something bad? Are you crazy? But it worked. I was afraid of the evening. So afraid that by 4 in the afternoon my stomach would clench. What if they won't fall asleep again? What if the toothbrush battle? What if I lose it? The Stoics call this premeditatio malorum, anticipating difficulties. I decided to try it. I sat down and honestly told myself, what's the worst that could happen tonight? A tantrum. I'll be tired. Maybe I'll even yell. Then we'll both cry. And that's it. And you know what? I realized I could survive it. I'd survived it 100 times before. And I'm still here. That night I wasn't afraid. A tantrum happened, but I didn't break. Because I was ready. I just sat my child on my lap, hugged him, and waited for it to pass. Tomorrow morning ask yourself, what's the hardest thing I might face today? Imagine it. Accept that it might happen. And say, I've survived all the hard days before. I'll survive this one too. This isn't pessimism. It's preparation. It kills fear. The hardest part. Honestly. For a long time I was angry at my life. If only my husband helped more. If only the kids didn't scream. If only I could sleep normally. I lived in if only. And it drained all my strength. Then I read Marcus Aurelius, discard your imagination. Curb your impulse. Let reason rule. I tried a simple exercise. I would stand in the middle of chaos, in the middle of scattered toys and screaming, and say out loud, this is my life right now. And I can handle this 1 minute. Not forever. Not for a year. For 1 minute. And I would set a timer for 1 minute. Do nothing. Just breathe. Look at what's actually happening, not at what I'm afraid of. Then ask myself, what one small thing can I do right now? 1 plate. 1 sock. 1 sip of water. 1 hug. Then stop. You know, that changed everything. I stopped demanding that life be different. I started living in the life that is. Not because I gave up. Because fighting reality was killing me. Tomorrow, at your hardest moment, set a timer for 1 minute. Do nothing. Breathe. Look at what's actually in front of you. Then do one small thing. That's enough. For a long time I thought self-care was selfish. How can I rest when the kids need things? I gave and gave until I collapsed with a 104 degrees fever. That day I lay there staring at the ceiling. And I realized, you can't pour from an empty cup. I had no love left to give because there was nothing left in me. I set a rule, 15 minutes a day, just mine. I'd lock myself in the bathroom, or get up 15 minutes earlier, or tell my husband, "Your turn with the kids, I'm going out." At first I felt guilty. I thought I was a bad mom. But then the kids got used to it. And guess what? They didn't break. And I became calmer. My meltdowns became less frequent. Seneca wrote, "We fight not to eradicate problems, but so that they don't overcome us." I can't eradicate the chaos of motherhood, but I can stop it from destroying me. I didn't become a perfect mom. I still lose it every couple of weeks. I cry. I hate myself, but I no longer live in hell. I have a pause button. I have a circle of control. I know how to prepare for difficulties without being afraid of them. And I know that 15 minutes for myself is not a luxury, it's fuel. You can do it too. Not right away. You'll make mistakes. But every evening ask yourself 3 questions. What did I do well today? What could I have done better? What will I do differently tomorrow? No guilt. No punishment. Just honest. Now tell me in the comments, what will you try today? The pause button, the circle of control, or the 1-minute return to the present? I read everything. Subscribe so you don't miss the next video. I'll talk about how I stopped screaming in the store when my child demands a toy. Stoicism is not about reading smart books. It's about my kitchen, my bathroom, my meltdowns, and my small victories. You've got this. Start with one evening.